Hello wrestling fan, it's your boy ConnorTalksWrestling, and today we're going to talk about Monday Night Raw, last night's Monday Night Raw, aka this morning if you're in UK like I am. There were some great matches, some great promos, and let's just get into it. Obviously, like I did with the Elimination Chamber, I'm going to do things in order of what things happened. So it started off last night with the CM Punk promo, where he talks about John Cena and talks about The Rock, and he was very, very angry. He came out very, very angry with what happened after when John Cena won. Also, with John Cena went full on heel on Cody Rhodes and then selling his soul to The Rock. I think he had every right to be mad because, well, he was mostly mad about that John Cena stole his shine moment of the sun, which obviously triggered his anger, and then he obviously got more angry with Seth Rollins, with obviously what the rival they've got going, and then that's just when Seth Rollins moves the kit, and then it just went all out brawl for a good 8 minutes, probably less than that. I'm probably over exaggerating, but they were brawling all over the arena. They were still brawling backstage. It was just madness. CM Punk, obviously, I feel like with this anger, he's gonna show this anger. He's gonna want to show this anger in the ring. Clearly, he wants to beat up Seth, and then he wants to go on to WrestleMania eventually. I don't know how he's going to do it, but he's definitely going to get to WrestleMania. Well, that's my guess anyway. Now let's move on to a weird but very good match in Otis versus Gunter. Now last week on Monday Night Raw, which I've been obviously doing a video on because I'd literally just started, it was Gunter versus Akira Tozawa, which is a very, very weird match, but that was still a good match. I expected the same thing, which I did. Otis and Gunter match was actually quite awesome. The thing about it is just two big blokes pounding. It was madness. It was good until obviously Gunter winning the match, obviously because he's the champion. It was inevitable that he was going to beat Otis, and then he did the same like he did last week. He went to attack, trying to do more further damage to Otis, but not until this man, the main event, Jey Uso, came to help him out. He came to help out the Alpha Academy to fend off Gunter, because as you know, Jey Uso is going after Gunter's title at WrestleMania. So hopefully, Jey Uso is going to win that, because that's my guy. That's my boy. Not only did Jey Uso come out, A-Town Down Under, aka Austin Theories and Grayson Waller, also came out to attack Jey Uso after what Jey Uso's done to them last week as well. So could be a storyline there with Jey Uso and the Alpha Academy and Gunter and A-Town Down Under. That could be a good match. I actually would want to see that happening. Moving on to the Judgment Day promo. Now, this is interesting. It seems like, well, Finn Balor was obviously angry with Dominic Mysterio and Carlito for not doing the job properly against Braun Breaker, which is, Braun Breaker is the Intercontinental Champion, and he's very, very good. To be honest, Braun Breaker, Dominic Mysterio, Carlito, Braun Breaker's definitely got that in the bag. I don't understand what's going on there, but you shouldn't really be angry because, Dominic Mysterio and Carlito is not great. Braun Breaker, on the other hand, is definitely one for the future. So is Dominic. He can be the one for the future, but definitely Braun. Braun 100% for the future. Moving on to the Judgment Day rivalries, Braun, they also got another rivalry with Naomi, Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, and Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan, with a very interesting thought with, they mentioned that Raquel Rodriguez is going to keep a close eye onto the Women's Intercontinental Championship match. I really like Raquel Rodriguez, and I actually would love to see her as the Intercontinental Champion, so hopefully someday down the line we'll see that happening. Speaking of the Women's Intercontinental Championship match that happened next, that's happening after that promo, in Ivy Neal versus the champion of Lyra Valkyria. Now, to be honest, I don't really like Ivy Neal, so with Lyra Valkyria retaining her title, I loved it. I've got to support my UK people in the Irish lady of Lyra Valkyria, so I'm really happy about that match. It was still a decent match, Ivy Neal did give it her all, but Lyra Valkyria obviously came out on top, which I'm really, really happy about. And then after that match, it did show again the backstage segment of Seth Rollins and CM Punk still brawling. And then after they finished brawling, it was announced that Seth Rollins and CM Punk in a steel cage match. They're coming very soon. I can't wait to talk about that match afterwards. It's going to be an insane match. I can't wait for it. Like, I feel like both have the chance to win, but I think CM Punk will win that. But let's see what happens with the storyline coming up to that match. Moving on to the promo of Ludwig Kaiser, which honestly, he is one of my favorites. Like, he's very good on mic and he's actually very good in ring. But he came out very angry at Penta for costing him his single title run. Well, he obviously didn't have a title, but you know what I mean. Like, he obviously wanted to go for the single title, but then, like, obviously he lost. And then he's blaming Penta for it. Penta came out, and then they just had a brawl, which then Penta came out on top. Now, I don't know if a lot of people are going to agree with me with this, but I really feel like Ludwig Kaiser should come out on top. I feel like Ludwig Kaiser should have more of an opportunity at the single title run than Penta, but that could be wrong. That could be me being me. Like, I probably choose that because I preferred Ludwig Kaiser over Penta, but yeah, it's really interesting to see what happens in that sort of storyline between those two. What happened next is the Chad Gable segment where he went on to a quest to find out how to beat luchadors. Now, it ended with him opening a box. It didn't show what's in the box, which I'm confused about, but that's probably a good thing because then they can show it what hits inside that box later down the line, or it could be next week. But yeah, it'll be interesting to find out what's inside the box and if it's actually going to help him beat luchadors. We'll have to wait and see. Moving on to the Raw Tag Team Championships, if that's what it's called. I don't even know if that's what it's called, but I always call it the Raw Tag Team Championship because it's always been defended on Raw. So it was the Creed brothers versus the champion Viking Raiders. Now, this was a very, very decent match. I very enjoyed this match with the Viking Raiders retaining the title, which, to be honest, I thought was going to happen, but I feel bad for the American Made, which is obviously the Creed brothers, because the Creed brothers, Ivan Nile, both had championship matches and they both lost. So, and they're part of Chad Gable's. Obviously, Chad Gable is the leader of American Made, so hopefully Chad Gable will see that and then show him how to beat luchadors. And basically, I think American Made could be the faction in the upcoming few months, I would say. Hopefully, I reckon they'll become tag team champions at some point down the line. Speaking of luchadors, the segment that's happened next was the LWO and Rey Mysterio, Dragon Lee, Cruz del Toro, and Jacqueline Wild. They basically was talking about the New Day and basically saying that they're coming for them and they want them inside. Well, not inside, but they want them in a tornado tag, which means no tags, which I've always loved that match. Like, that's going to be a good match to watch. And it has been confirmed that that is going to happen as well. So I can't wait to talk about that match when it happens. If you remembered earlier in this video, I did talk about Bron Breakker and Judgment Day, and it happened again with Bron Breakker on the mic talking about Judgment Day, which then Finn Balor's music got hit. He came down to the ring and said, and they both exchanged words to the point where Bron Breakker just had to come down from where he was and went to beat him up, basically. Which obviously with the Judgment Day, they always had something planned, so they're trying to surprise attack Bron, which didn't go as planned. The plan failed, to say the least. Like, they basically just ended up walking away from Bron, and I don't know. I feel like there could have been more to that segment. I feel like there could have been more beating each other up type thing, but at the end of the day, it's still going to be interesting to find out what's happening with the Judgment Day and Bron. Just let's see what happens. Moving on to the main event match in Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky for the title, which we knew that Rhea Ripley had the title, but she lost it. And that's why my title was like, what happened? Because I was very shocked. I thought Rhea Ripley was still going to retain, and I thought it was going to be Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair. at WrestleMania, but now it's going to be Io Sky versus Bianca Belair, which I feel like makes a little bit more sense. Now, hear me out. I think it's going to be Damage Control versus what team is thinking Bianca? I can't remember the name, but with Bianca Belair, Naomi, Jade Cargill segment, it could go either way. Like, it's either going to be Naomi that's going to stick with Bianca, or it's going to be Jade to stick with Bianca. We'll have to wait and see, but I feel like it's going to be those two against each other at some point down the line, and that's going to be one hell of a match to watch. I can't wait for that match. Overall, I think Raw was a very good show, but I don't think it beat Elimination Chamber. Therefore, I think I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. There was some things I didn't like, some things I did like, but yeah, so I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. I hope you agree with that. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. That's been your boy, Connor Talks Wrestling. If you like this video, please smash that like button, subscribe if you want to see more and all that good stuff. Peace.